The dot-com bubble burst in the late 90s, early 2000s, and now it is being predicted that a similar AI crash is coming very soon. The AI bubble is going to burst maybe as early as 2026 itself. There were so many statements that were being put by the top CXOs of the top companies about AI in 2025. Were these statements proven to be true or false? Is the AI hype really dying? And most of all, what is its impact on software engineers? Are we finally seeing the end of the layoff season? And are we going to see more hiring in 2026? And we are going to talk about all of this, but I also want to cover my personal suggestion to the software developers out there, how you should be directing your career right now. If you should be studying AI, how much you should be studying it, and in which direction you should be studying it. I just want to give my personal advice to you. Let's talk about the AI bubble first. The major problem in very simple terms is that there is a huge difference between the money that the AI companies are putting in and the money that they are making. There's an absolutely huge difference. Let me give you the numbers. So Bain & Company recently released a report where they stated that the top tech AI companies have capital expenditure of $560 billion in AI in the last 2 years. $560 billion versus in the same time they have been able to make only $35 billion revenue. So $560 billion and $35 billion. Do you see the huge difference in the investment versus the revenue? The same thing happened during the dot-com time also. So companies kept getting a lot of investment, their valuations were sky high, but in the end, when crash happened, what happened? Most of the companies collapsed, they were shut down, and only a few companies were able to make through it. Now, same thing is being predicted to be happening again. So a lot of companies are getting huge investments right now, but it is being predicted that most of the AI companies will eventually shut down because they are not able to make so much of revenue. Let me give you some more numbers to get the context over here. So the prediction is that by 2030, these companies are going to need $2 trillion in annual revenue for the compute power versus they will be able to generate only $200 billion of revenue. $2 trillion versus $200 billion. So the shortfall is going to be of $800 billion by 2030 itself. The numbers are absolutely crazy. Plus, there is a huge circular financing concern, which is also called vendor financing. You must have heard of this, but let me explain it in very simple terms. See, Microsoft invested $13 billion into OpenAI, and OpenAI uses Microsoft's Azure to run its OpenAI models. Similarly, Amazon has invested $4 billion into Anthropic, but Anthropic has the deal that they will use Amazon's AWS for their cloud provider, right? Similarly, OpenAI uses NVIDIA chips, NVIDIA invests back into OpenAI. So there's a circular dependency over here. This is a huge sign that yes, there is a bubble. And the valuation math is just not mathing. There was another case that got a lot of attention, was Meera Murthy. So she was one of the top CXOs at OpenAI and obviously had a lot of connections. She started her own company and with 0 customers. There are absolutely no people using her product right now. And her company has a valuation of $10 to $12 billion and got a seed funding itself of around $2 billion. These numbers are like absolutely crazy. From non-AI perspective also, from investor perspective, there are a lot of investors that are predicting that in 2026 there is going to be a huge market crash. Now, if AI will be a major reason, might or might not be true. It might be one of the reasons, but there are other factors as well, like for example, the US economy, Trump's mood swings, the entire US-China relationships, and so on. So there's also a market crash that is being predicted for 2026. I know that so far I've been talking about the bubble burst, the market crash, and together it all sounds like a huge bad news, and this doesn't seem positive at all. But now let me tell you something else also. More than 6 months ago, the CEO of Anthropic had made a statement saying that more than 90% of the code will be written by AI in 6 months. Well, the 6 months mark is over, and do you see that happening around you? Is the 90% of the code written by AI? Not at all. If we talk about the layoffs that have happened in the major companies, we can say that 2 or 3% of the employees were let go because of AI. And if we want to exaggerate the numbers and maybe call it 5 to 10% also, it is nowhere near the 90% mark. And let's say the employees have actually started using AI. Let's say 50% of the code is written in AI. 90% is definitely not there yet, right? So the point over here is that there are a lot of top CXOs who are making a lot of statements. They are just making some predictions, right? The top people are making predictions. Like for example, Elon Musk has thrown a lot of statements, very, very controversial statements. might or might not be true. Similarly, let me give you another example. GPT-5, when it came, there were so many expectations, right? There were really huge statements that were thrown around that this is going to be it, GPT-5 is going to be huge. But when we actually saw it, we were meh. Yeah, we were obviously mind blown by GPT-3, but was GPT-5 like a huge, was it really good compared to, say, GPT-3? There was not much difference for us, versus when we consider the cost that went into this was just too much. And then people started talking about, is it worth putting so much money into these new versions? So we definitely need completely different research, and that the entire discussion began, right? But the point over here is that they also made claims that were not true. This brings me to the main part of the video, the heart-to-heart conversation that I wanted to have with you. See, the point of so far has been that there can be various claims and various predictions that are made by different people. And yes, we should be aware of what is happening around us. But my main problem is that there are two kinds of opinions that are floating around right now. If you see the other YouTube videos or the LinkedIn posts, there are two major kinds of very strong extreme opinions. One is that the AI hype is over and there's going to be definitely, a lot of hiring in software jobs, and it doesn't make sense to invest so much time into AI. It is better to just concentrate on software development because AI is just not good enough. And the other extreme opinion is that AI is going to replace us. You just do not know it. Yes, it might not be there yet. 90% of the code might not be written yet. But look at the speed where we were 3 years ago and where we are now. It's just a matter of time, and we will definitely be replaced. My major problem over here is that both of these takes are just so extreme. And now please listen to me for the next 2-3 minutes. I really want to say this to you. See, you need to understand that social media is designed to make you happy, right? ChatGPT was developed to make you happy. So it is going to say things that you want to hear. Let me give you an example. Suppose you are in a very loving relationship with your partner, okay? So when you scroll reels, you will see videos of loving couples, and you will see how awesome is love story, and everything is great and rosy and everything. Versus if you had a fight with your partner, you're going to see a lot of reels about breakup, about how it was other person's blame and how you are left alone, and social media is going to give you validation. And that is where the problem is right now. The problem is that there are so many extreme opinions and everyone really wants to get validated, and the social media is actually doing that. Not just Instagram, but also ChatGPT and all the other LLMs together are just validating what you want to hear. And the problem is that most of the people, they just want to hear that yes, AI is nonsense and we don't want to study it, and there will be software jobs and I'm going to get a job, right? They want to hear that there is going to be an easy path out of this. So now I want to talk about the reality. Till now, I hope in the last 1 minute, this is a reminder that social media is going to show you what you want to see, what you want to hear, right? So please don't blindly trust or believe any person. It can be the top person in the industry. It could be your social media. It could be the research that you're doing. But there's always the other part of the story also. Every coin has two sides, and there's always going to be other side. So please do not form a very strong opinion about something, very extreme opinion about something. And now I want to talk about my advice to you, that how you should be directing your career in such times where there is so much of unpredictability involved. Not just as software engineers, you can be in any field, and it will be very stupid of you to think that AI has zero impact on your job, right? AI definitely has an impact in all jobs. How much impact is there is subjective. That is what we should be talking about. But if you are saying that there is absolutely no impact on AI, then you are being blind and you are being stupid about it. See, in fact, it is also true that there are a lot of companies that are trying out AI in form of FOMO also. So which brings to our first point of the video, that there are so many companies that are going to collapse, and there are a lot of companies that are actually putting in money in AI. They want to explore AI, but they really don't know how to use it yet, or they might not be even using it in a correct way. They are not using it for the correct use cases. So that is subjective, that how much AI should be used. But I think everyone should definitely accept the fact that AI has an impact on our lives. It has a very much direct impact on us, right? Just like .com, we can compare with that, right? There are a lot of .com companies that came out of that era, right? Yes, a lot of companies collapsed, but there are some companies that actually came out of it. Today we use Google, Amazon. These are still the most relevant companies, came during that era itself, right? So similarly, there are going to be companies like OpenAI, Gemini, like from Google itself, right? Gemini and Anthropic. These companies are going to have a huge impact on us, but how much impact it has on our daily jobs is the question right now. Here, let me share a story with you. So recently we were hiring for a software engineer, and when we hire, I have shared this earlier as well, we let candidates use AI tools. We are okay with it. We in fact want to see how you use the tools and how quickly you are able to solve the problem that we have given to you, right? So we gave to build some application, and there were candidates who were using AI, who were using ChatGPT. But when the code was generated, they just did not know how to use it or where the mistakes are happening, in which file to put, which file should be in which folder. The basic mistakes were being made, that if there is an error that is being written over there, they couldn't even understand it, because they are able to create projects, they are able to create demos using AI. AI generates it and they just put them as it is, right? So here there is a huge problem for especially beginner software engineers, right? So there has to be a shift in the way we learn software engineering using AI, because now you're using AI, you just cannot use it blindly, right? It is going to do a lot of work for you. Definitely, it is absolutely great to use AI. AI does help. In fact, when I write code, I write so much of code using AI these days, like almost like I'm sure it is more than 50-60%. So much of code is being written by AI. But you cannot ask AI to write end-to-end scalable projects, like complete end-to-end thing, right? So you have to start with the starting, you have to ask it the high-level system design, then you will drill down to maybe one particular module that you're working on, then you will decide the low-level design of it. For that also you can help, and you can ask for help from AI, and you can discuss, and then you can decide it, okay, this is how I'm going to write the code, and then you can ask AI to generate code for small parts, right? If you ask it to generate the end-to-end code, it might not do really well. In fact, recently, like Amit was using Cursor, and I was actually seeing the project that he was working on. He was doing absolutely, like, it was mind-blowing how much it was able to do. But still, to be able to solve the problems that are in fact coming while building the projects, for that you need basic understanding of software engineer. My point over here is that you need the basics or the foundations to be absolutely clear to be able to use AI in a proper way. Otherwise, instead of saving your time, you will end up wasting your time. You must have seen a lot of memes and reels where you tried using AI, and instead of saving time, you ended up debugging your code for 4-5 days. There's a lot of reels and there are a lot of memes around it, and people joke about how AI is not good enough. But the problem is that you are not good enough and you are not able to use AI in the correct way. So if your foundations are clear, then you will be able to use AI in the correct way, and then you will be able to use it to increase your productivity and efficiency rather than it taking more of your time. So the basic drill is still same for software engineers. The beginner journey is still the same. You still need to learn DSA, LLD, HLD for interviews. Why is that still being asked in interviews? Because you still do need the basics of software engineering to be right, to be able to use AI without mistakes, right? In fact, yes, there is so much of AI that is being used for cheating that more of one-to-one or in-person interviews have now started, but that is a different discussion. The point here is that you still need to do DSA, LLD, HLD, and telling you from my perspective also at Educourses, yes, I know that I have concentrated a lot on Gen AI and AI in general, and I have been teaching AI for a long time. For this year, especially this was like the year of AI. But did I stop DSL, HLD? No, people are still enrolling for it. They still watch the recordings. They still ask us questions. We are still involved. In fact, I am planning more batches of DSL, HLD in 2026 also. I am going to do it, right? In fact, I was thinking in the end of 2025 itself, I'll do it. So the point is that DSA, HLD doesn't go. The basics of software engineering doesn't go. You still have to work on projects. You still have to have a domain where your domain knowledge is really good, so that you are able to use the AI without mistakes, right? So that you really understand what you're writing. You cannot use AI blindly without getting your basics right. Now, as software engineers, if you're overwhelmed with so much happening in the AI industry and you are worried about how do I stay updated, how do I even get started if you're an absolute beginner, because I understand that there's a new trending AI thing literally every week, right? So let me tell you that as software engineers, it is very easy to be able to build agentic applications. Now, in terms of tools, yes, there are a lot of tools that come on a daily basis. There are a lot of companies that are coming up with different kinds of tools, and that you can just scroll through LinkedIn, YouTube, and you can like stay updated in that entire thing. And I'm also planning to cover like a few tools so that you guys can get updated like every month or something like that. I'm planning to cover that. But other than the tools, see, when it comes to building the applications, as software engineers, what do? We build applications, right? So now we have to build agentic applications. So in order to do that, it is actually very easy. And let me tell you from my experience, it is not just that I have learned. In fact, I have seen thousands of students actually learn in a very short duration of time. So if you don't know, I am also doing a city tour. So I basically go to different cities and I teach in person. So I've done it twice in Bangalore, one in Hyderabad, I'm going to do in Delhi, I'm going to Gurgaon, right? So all Delhi NCR people are going to come. The point over here is that I've actually seen it happening in thousands of students that within 2 days, right? Within 2 days itself, they are able to learn so much. And even in the online course in Zoom when I teach, I've seen that in such short duration, they are so surprised that how much they were able to learn, and there were so many hyped words, but in fact it was all very easy. And I'm not saying that you have to be part of my bootcamp or you have to be part of my classes to be able to understand this. I'll tell you the free videos that are there on my channel itself that you can get started with, and you can do it over 1 weekend or 2 weekends. Just sit and write code. Over 1 weekend itself, it is possible that you will be able to understand and build one agentic application. You will be able to understand MCP, write your own MCP server, write your own multi-agent architecture. All of this is possible, and it will give you just so much confidence. As software engineers, you should be able to do it. So let me tell you, as software engineers who are absolutely beginners, which videos you can get started with so that you can at least get an idea. Just let me give you some rough idea. Otherwise, if you are planning to understand GenAI in detail, then there's also this GenAI roadmap that you can go through. So I have covered everything if you want to understand the basics also. So basically, okay, let me just tell you something, that in GenAI there are 2 parts, okay. One is that you want to understand how LLMs work internally. So that is that neural networks, and there are CNNs and RNNs, and there is transformer architecture and all of that, right? So how do LLMs work internally? So in my course also there are 2 parts to it. This is one part. Now coming to this part, it is not absolutely necessary for software engineers, but I think you should be curious about it and you should study it, right? I keep telling people that as software engineers, I think you should know that how things work internally. But if you want to skip this and you just want to feel confident and you want to be able to build applications, you can do the second part of the GenAI, which is basically pick any one of the frameworks. It can be LangGraph, it can be say ADK like OpenAI's or Google's or anything, right? And start building applications, get into MCP and multi-agent architecture and all of that, right? So there are 2 parts to it. I would suggest to do both parts, and that is why in my course also I have done both parts. But it is okay if for confidence you want to just build the applications. This part is possible over 1 weekend itself. Trust me, you just need dedicated 2 to 3 days. Just sit with it and write code. Now let me tell you about it a bit. So you can watch this video for LangGraph. So this is end-to-end video. You can definitely watch this. I'm also planning to cover ADK, OpenAI as well as Google. So that will be also there. But these are just alternate frameworks that you can use. You can pick any of these frameworks. It's fine, right? LangGraph is the most old one. LangChain LangGraph is one ecosystem. So this is the most old one and most established one in the industry right now. So most people go ahead with it. So you can check that out. If you are an absolute beginner in Python, go through my NumPy, Pandas and Matplotlib videos. These are the most common Python libraries that you're going to use in your projects. So go through these videos. It's just 1 hour videos, so you can definitely do it in a day, right? All 3 of the videos. And then after going through LangGraph, go through MCP. Again, I have a couple of videos with end-to-end code, and I've also explained it in a very easy way. I've explained it to my father. So again, you can do this as well. Then I have also covered multi-agent architecture over here, as well as I've explained it to my father. So there are so many free videos that are available, and these are all latest videos that I have created just in the past few months. So this is the latest information, and this will give you just so much confidence as software engineer that you are not just able to build applications that you used to, like as software engineers, you know DSL, DHID, but you are also able to use AI, and that is exactly what companies are looking for. See, my entire point of, okay, if I have to like summarize it in one line, it is going to be, see, software engineers will not be completely replaced by AI, but software engineers who use AI will definitely replace the software engineers who do not use AI. Because these people will use AI to increase their efficiency, to increase their productivity, to get their work done in less time, and there is a lot of competition out there. So if you just remain a software engineer who turns a blind eye to AI, who says that I just don't want to learn AI, then I'm sorry, I think you will be very irrelevant very soon. So my personal suggestion is that please do invest some time in AI. You cannot go like this is not the reality. It is the reality. And the history has told that always we have had to upskill, right? When .com came, we learned new things. How decades, like, was AWS there in 1980s, 1990s? No, people learned AWS and now it's a norm, right? People know about it. Similarly, in just a few years, very, very soon, AI will become a norm. You will need to know norm. Our industry in general, this is the expectation. You need to stay updated, right? This is the expectation of the journey of the entire software engineer community. You need to stay updated with the latest things. And it is not hard as software engineers. You just need to get your basics right. Use these free videos that are there on my channel, but at least get started. This brings me to the end of the video. The point of the video was not to scare you, but to give you a reality check. Please remember, don't trust anyone blindly, not even me, not any YouTuber, not any CXO. No matter how experienced a person seems like, they might be wrong. In the end, they are just making predictions. If their prediction is wrong, they're just going to say, yeah, I was wrong, and they are going to move on with their lives. But you cannot put your entire career behind one person's prediction, right? So you have to have some knowledge about what is happening around you and make your own decision. So my personal suggestion as a friend to you, as your sister, would be that please do consider learning AI as software engineers. You will absolutely enjoy it and it will give you so much confidence. In the end, just, slightly last pitching that if interested, you can always enroll for our boot camps, our online courses. I would love to meet you in person or in online courses. For all our courses, you get lifetime access to the recording, so you can enroll at any point. You can always watch the recordings. We are always available with the Discord for the doubt support and everything, right? So we are here to help you in any way possible. If your company basically reimburses that, you can definitely enroll and that will be free for you, exactly, right? A lot of companies do this. They give reimbursements for the courses that you sign up for. And especially AI, I think a lot of companies are reimbursing it. A lot of my students actually, they sign up for it and they get it reimbursed from their company. So it is basically free for them. If you have this provision in your company, then please utilize it. Don't let it go for waste. It will benefit you as well as it will benefit me, right? Now, thank you so much for staying till here. If you have any opinion, please let me know in the chat. Any question at all, we would love to help you. Any more tutorials, specific tutorials that you're looking forward to, let me know. We are here to help you in any way possible. Now, thank you so much. See you next time. Bye.